Okay, so, hello everybody. Another day, another shooting going on in the news. Yeah, that's just fucking great. Just fucking great. Yeah. It's totally what I wanted to do today. I wanted to do some shit for gaming. I wanted to do another death run. A no death run for Halo 2. Or at least to complete it this time. But nope. Apparently life has to kick my ass. So that way I can cover it. And this time, once again, happened in my home state. Yeah, happened not so far from here. In Houston, the Santa Fe High School. Yeah. So, and this also is going to come with the normal debunking of so many leftist talking points about gun regulation and stuff like that. So, if you don't like that, then this ain't your cup of tea. And I will be responding to a couple of people directly in this video. Rooster Teeth. Yeah, I'm tired of being passive-aggressive on Rooster Teeth. I've been trying to be really... I've been trying to be calm when it comes to them, but honestly, so many of them have just become so far left, it's just absolutely insane. So, anyway, let's give a description of what's going on. Okay, so apparently a former student came in to this school about 8 o'clock this morning. Alright, this is all as it's coming in. Something else could happen within the next couple of days and we'll know the motivations of the shooter. I'm not going to say his name. Of course, I don't think his name's actually out there, surprisingly, considering every time a shooting of this magnitude happens at a school, the shooter's name is almost immediately known. So, anyway, we'll do that. And we'll find out hours later, and I'll make another video on that as a follow-up. So this guy goes in and he shoots up an art class. He killed 8, I think, in the initial run. I think the total number is up to 11. So anywhere from 8 to 11 right now. 8 to 11 people have died in this shooting. More than 16 have been injured, and a couple of them are critical. And a resource officer was injured, but a resource officer was also able to wound this guy and was able to put him down, essentially. I don't know if he's dead yet, but they were able to stop this before it got any worse, which is wonderful. Good on the resource officer. He's a hero as well he should. He's a hero as well he should be. He stopped the threat that could have potentially become a lot worse, especially when that school has over 1,000 students. A Houston high school. Alright, Houston's not that far from where I live. I live in Brooklyn, Texas. Brooklyn is like just a few hours from here. So that's not far from me. But it was a big school. So that's also another distinction. That it was a big school. It could have been a lot worse. And thankfully it wasn't bad. It wasn't that bad. I mean, it was still bad. Every shooting is terrible and awful and should be condemned equally. But I mean, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. Everything could be a hell of a lot worse in that regard. So, yeah. And a bunch of people like CNN have been running headlines like this is the 22nd school shooting of this magnitude, which is completely false because they're also taking into account accidental shootings that happen, like say a resource officer, accidentally discharges a weapon or something like that, or a teacher accidentally discharges a weapon and it hits nobody. They're counting that type of stuff. By that regard, there may be, maybe 18. Really depends on who you... really depends on what happened, and that's why we should be looking at, these types of numbers with a little bit of scrutiny, because a lot of people like to, blow things out of proportion and fuck shit up and start riling people up so they can get a couple of views or a couple of hits on a website, and it's pretty fucking annoying. Especially when it comes to CNN and, all the leftist people in the media who try to fuck shit up with it. And like I said, the 22 number is ludicrous. Alright, same thing with the 18 school shootings like that one story that came out after Parkland. I think it was like we had 18 mass shootings so far in the year at schools, and I was like, no, that's ridiculous. And a lot of people were like, no, that's ridiculous, and it was unverifiable. It was verifiably not 18 people who died but not 18 people, but 18 mass shootings in the country. All right, and like I said, it count a lot. There may be 22 shootings, but they're not the shootings, all right? Because in most of these shootings, people aren't even injured. Well, not most of them, half of them at least. No one is really injured or hurt, and half the time it's accidental. And there are cases on school grounds and college campuses where someone has been, shot deliberately, and it was pretty bad, but sometimes no one was even killed in those. So, like I said, it's just sometimes it depends on your perspective, but you also got to like I said, you got to take it with a lot of scrutiny. But anyway, yeah, and it's pretty bad. That's the whole district, I think, is on lockdown right now, and the school all on lockdown. I think they let the parents talk to the kids somewhere. So that's good. I mean, at least they're, the parents are able to see their children after all this stuff. And apparently there was a second person who was, detained, and they found, bags of explosives and stuff like that. So, I mean, these guys were fucking serious. And that's not ideal. I definitely wouldn't want any type of explosive going off in a school. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy. Why would anyone try to set off an explosion in a school? I don't fucking know. Why would you want to go shoot up a school anyway? I don't fucking know. But when you're an evil person, and it's kind of hard to figure out your exact motivations when you're a dick like that. But all that out of the way, I after, debunking CNN and shit, I need to talk about a few people of particular interest, Rooster Teeth, that have been really pissing me off on this whole issue not ever since Parkland. Well, some of them since Parkland, but most of them kind of since before Parkland. I mean, Ann Hullum. I mean, if you've watched my channel at all, I do not like Ann Hullum's politics, and I think she's an asshole. And is very disrespectful to people with she disagrees on the internet. Talks about Laura Ingraham here. She's just not I don't think she's very... I don't know what the word is. Let's just say she's not one for discussion. She's not one for a real discussion, which is one of the things that really criticize a lot of people on the left who fight for gun control, or anyone who fights for gun control for that matter, is they do not want to debate. They want all guns banned. They want it now. Damn it all to hell. Damn it all to hell. I don't care if the Constitution's at stake here, and people's personal rights and law-abiding citizens and all that stuff. They don't care. They want guns banned, and they don't care how. Though, considering most of the people who do make these claims are guarded by security men with machine guns all the time, I mean, not Rooster Teeth, but I mean, most of the people who make these claims that are celebrities usually have, security guards and shit. So it's just, what can you do? You can't please these people. So, but yeah, so Ann Hullum and them, they're probably all right now saying a whole bunch of shit about, the NRA, is that the NRA must pay and stuff like that. This no to the NRA and stuff like that. Adam Baldwin actually has a good tweet on Twitter about this. Some lady was saying, no, was tweeting a picture with the hashtag no NRA, or no RA, hashtag no RA. It was N-O, just regular no, and then RA, and I was like, okay, that's really illiterate. So, anyway, but yeah, she was saying stuff online this is the NRA's fault and stuff like that. He said, or to put it in a different perspective, you're a fucking liar. And I loved it. But, I mean, a couple minutes ago, I actually, not a couple minutes ago, about an hour ago, I saw a tweet from Arryn Zech. If you don't know her, I think she's the chick who plays Blake on Ruby, which is unfortunate because I really like Blake. I think Blake is a really good character, an interesting character. Because she's fucking Blake. To be honest with you, I think Blake embodies libertarianism on a full-scale front sometimes. And, vigilantism. Of course, I think the entire concept of Ruby is kind of centered around vigilantism. But anyway, yeah. She tweeted out, we need more restrictions and stuff like that. and basically saying lawmakers, you need to get off your ass and stuff like that. Which, to her, I say, what solutions do you want? Alright? And I actually tweeted that. It's like, we already have a lot of restrictions on firearms in this country. Okay? Like, we have a lot of restrictions, okay? You have to do federally licensed background check. You got to do it through a federally licensed gun dealer most of the time. They're trying to make it to where you can't even buy a gun from a friend. If you're a close friend, you can't buy a person a gun. Like if they're just a close friend, right? They're not like a complete stranger 40 miles away who has a shady history. Just a friend. Or like you're trying to save your buddy's firearms after he like dies or something like that, and you're wanting to take care of him or something like that. No, they won't let you do that. That's a very big no-no. And you top that off, gun control has become more and more of a huge issue since the 60s. Despite the fact that our gun crime has been decreasing since then. Ever since the first real gun control measures were introduced, the American gun crime has been falling steadily, but the number of school shootings has been raised. And there's a lot of reason to really ponder about that. It's like, why is gun crime... Well, not gun crime. Why is gun crime dropping, but mass shootings at schools, or why are shootings at schools becoming so more frequent? Well, that's another issue I think we really need to touch upon, is that we need to stop sensationalizing mass shooters, but I've talked about that before. And so have a lot of people who agree with me on this. We've talked about stop sensationalizing mass shooters, and, just play the facts like they should be, and we'll be good. That's not a lot of people see it, though, but fortunately, I'm hoping this shooting will be a rare case of the media keeping their mouth shut about this guy's name and not actually revealing it until, like, a later date. So that way, all those people, that way nobody gets a bad influence from it. Which honestly would be for the best. But anyway, for what people like Ann Hullum have been saying, is like, we need more restrictions, we need more this, we need more that. I mean, like I said, what do you want? I mean, you can't own fully automatic weapons. Some states have made it almost completely illegal for you to own, like, a semi-automatic firearm, and you can only carry pistols. California has tried introducing legislation. I think they have passed it to where they have assault pistols now in the registry, which is fucking ridiculous. Massachusetts, I think, is just about banned semi-automatic firearms, which is pretty fucking dumb. And I mean, there's a lot of law-abiding people that own firearms that aren't doing shit. And this is my whole problem, is when the country as a whole has been doing really good on the issue, and there's just a couple of dicks out there who, if they're mentally ill, don't even know how the hell they even got a gun in the first place, which kind of kills the whole background checks would stop all mass shootings type of deal. I mean, there is a black market, It's where, honestly, there is a black market. Somebody can get a gun from other means. And so, I'm just saying, it's like, why are so many people just enamored with the concept of, taking a constitutional right away, a constitutional amendment that has been, in effect for literally the entire age of the country. I know the age of when the country was founded, a lot of bad shit was still going on, like slavery and stuff, but that doesn't kill the argument that I'm trying to make here. Is this was put in there for a reason. Why are we trying to get rid of it when you're overblowing an issue that has been decreasing mildly from a scale from mild to majorly? It's been pretty in between. Like Australia, and this is another one, Jen Brown tweeted out a couple weeks ago that she said she felt totally safe in Australia because they banned all their guns. But completely disregarded the fact that right after Australia banned guns in the 1990s, there was a huge spike in gun crime before it actually went down, and guns in Australia. There have been more guns in Australia since that gun ban. Like there's been more guns in the country since then, despite the fact that the police keep doing all these gun buybacks. So I'm just like, what are you saying? And she also said she was never catcalled in Australia, which I'm saying, okay, what's your definition of catcalling? I mean, I know this is just a tangent, but like, what's your definition of catcalling? Is it someone saying hi to you? Or is it someone saying, hey, you got a nice ass? Which I highly doubt, even in a big city, that would be something you would go through on a daily occurrence. I know a bunch of you are gonna be saying, well, you're disregarding her status because she's a woman, or disregarding everything she says because she's a woman. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm doing at all. I'm calling bullshit on things she has said. And that's why I'm responding to them. That's why I'm responding to Arryn Zech. That's why I'm responding to Jen Brown. That's why I'm responding to Ann Hullum. Because they've really been the worst ones out of this. Alright, at least do it like Barbara. At least do it like Barbara, where Dunkelman, where she just says it and she isn't trying to be confrontational about it. Okay, so a bunch of people have been trying to beat up Barbara over this too, but she's had a couple tweets where she's just like trying to be non-confrontational about it. She's saying, okay, this is just me, and that's it. Alright, and she may have done something I had missed, but I think Barbara is honestly, if you're going to be a spokesman for your cause, I think Barbara would be the one you would want. But Ann and them, they have not been that. They have been dicks about it. They keep saying, you support child murder. They're saying things like you support child murderers and stuff like that. I mean, basically going along with all this stuff about the NRA is like, you're basically pulling a David Hogg without really pulling a David Hogg, because David Hogg, the only reason he's up there is because the media want to beat NRA with the club, basically, when it comes to this stuff. And he's saying all this shit, and there was a couple of Parkland survivors, I think, who were saying something to the effect of like shit, if I can remember. I did some research on this before I did it, and I know I saw something about this on the news, but oh yeah, there was a couple Parkland survivors calling for full gun confiscation and stuff like that. So I'm just like, okay. And they were saying you're fucking dickweeds if you don't support this, blah 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 blah. The same shit we keep getting. So it's just I'm just not very enthused with this whole thing, and it's a good reason why, because people keep doing their own spin and things. And this is funny enough, but Rooster Teeth is located in Austin, Texas. I mean, I know Austin is not a very conservative-leaning city, but, I mean, still, you are in Texas. Most of your fan base is in Texas. I live in Texas. I've been a fan of theirs mostly because... Not mostly because they were from Texas, but part of the reason was because they were from Texas. Blow that guy in midair. So it's just... So I don't understand why they're trying to piss off so much of their audience. I think that's really a mistake that a lot of celebrities have been making over the past few years when it came to politics. They've been so forthright about it without actually considering a different point of view, and they've been so dickish about it. They're pushing away their own fans, and I think a bunch of them just don't care. Like they said, you know what, this is just my opinion. I don't care if you're pissed off at it with me. Okay, I don't care if you're pissed off with your fans leaving you over saying you saying some stupid shit or not. It's your choice. I mean, honestly, if you're wanting to be taken seriously, don't attack people on the other side as being, evil or stuff like that, which is, like I said, what they've been doing since Parkland, but at the most since maybe Sandy Hook, or maybe since probably 2014, right? Maybe since Aurora, arguably. Just all depends on that whole thing. But, alright, I'm going to close with just a message for Arryn Zech, Jen Brown, Ann Hullum over this whole thing. Do your research, please. Do your research. Stop doing this whole thing based on emotions. Actually go out there, have a discussion with people who disagree with you. I do it all the time on Instagram. and I have all right, like I do it all the time on Instagram. Okay, and you know the internet is cancer, but you can still have a thoughtful discussion with someone. And if you're not going to do that, then that's just going to kill your arguments dead in the water, no matter how good or bad they are. If you don't have a discussion with the people you disagree with, we're not going to get out of this political divide that we're in. If you're going to if you're going to act like dickheads about it, not help this, and you're not going to help the situation at hand, or at least talk about the situation at hand, and just go ahead and wait for another mass shooting to happen for you to go piss off about, then honestly you shouldn't be talking politics at all. Alright, and you can talk politics all the fuck you want. You can do whatever the hell you want, for all I care, except murder people. And please don't do that. But please, do something with a modicum of dignity. Okay, please. Like, be self-aware of yourself. Actually think about your arguments and say something like, is this something that a lot of people would go for? Is this something that makes sense? Is this something that's statistically verifiable? Because like I said, if you're not, and you're going to keep pushing it anyway like a bunch of dickheads, then you're not going to win anybody over. And that may be my view on it, but that's my view on it. I'm sticking to it, and I think it's the right one. Right? And that applies to anyone from the right or the left. Alrighty, guys. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little rant, per se. Not really a rant to me, but you know, it was just an overall cover of this whole story, and you know, and it's just me debunking a couple of people towards the end. So that's really all it was, and you know what, I'm okay with it. So anyway, like I said, thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't die. Hopefully I can get some more gaming videos up soon. And nothing else bad happens for 2 years. Like that's gonna fucking happen. Okay. Goodbye. Don't die.